What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is gonna be your review of Love and Hip Hop season 6, episode 15. I swear this season just need to be over. It's just it's not giving me anything. We start this episode off with Lyrica giving a performance at remember she was getting ready for a performance for the pre-ESPYs. She performed and it looked like it was a great performance, and her and A1 are clearly well on their way to reconciling. They was flirting. He done put the cameraman out the dressing room, honey, and all looks like it's going well. Now out in the audience we have Apple Watts and Tierra Marie. They done hooked up, they're going to work on some projects together, and they seem to be cool. And then here come Paris and Zell. And, Paris walked up on Apple and was like, for real, like, what's good? Like, you going to be mad at me over some situation with Brittany? Like, are we good? And they did actually talk it out. And, Apple was like, look, I'm trying to be a bigger and better person. Like, I ain't really trying to fall out over no drink. But at the same time, what you did wasn't cool. And Paris apologized, for throwing a drink on her and everything. And she said, look, we had beef with Brittany before the bus. And, it carried over. And Apple was like, look, I ain't know nothing about no beef y'all had. So then Zell came over. And everybody hugged it out, honey. And it was all good. They were all getting along. And they had all made up or whatever. So then, Lyrica and A1 roll up. And they congratulate her on a good show, and they talk. And then, basically they tell A1 and Lyrica, look, we glad to see that y'all are working things out. We glad to see that y'all getting through it. Everybody makes mistakes, blah, 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 blah. This episode, I'm telling y'all. Then, over to Fizz and April's house. They had a housewarming. They were like, we only inviting people that support us and love us. And then they talked about that. They talked about how Monique's still obsessed with Fizz, and April going on Instagram talking about all the men she slept with, how it was just a joke, and she was drinking, and it did, it wasn't true, that she was just joking, but the blogs made it seem like she was really giving a true confession. Then we see Mickey Monday and Slicker there. Mickey Monday was like, look, I done known, me and Fizz been friends for like 10 years, and I like him, and I like Monique. I knew them when they were together. I hate to see them going through this, but I love them. I love their son, and I just want what's best for them. And Fizz was like, look, that's what I want. I just want to be happy, and, anybody that got a problem with it, that's on them. That's not on me. The same shit they've been saying. Like, Then we see April talking to a producer friend who used to be Omarion's best friend, but now him and Omarion done fell out. And so we see him and April talking, and April basically telling the same damn story again about how things were so hard with Omarion, and when they were together it was such a horrible relationship, and she's glad that he left her because she probably would have stayed with him forever, being miserable. And then she got emotional, and she's just so happy now, and she's just happy to be in a better place. And she just wished that when all of that was going on, that Omarion just would have been honest about what was really going on and let the world know, instead of making her look like the bad guy and blah, 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 blah. We see K. Michelle meeting with producers. Now, remember, we ain't seen K. Michelle in about 5 or 6 episodes, but she is moving forward with her country album, so she's meeting with producers and talking to them about what's best, for getting this record done. And, they talked about basically, it's going to be a hard road, that people going to give you a hard time, you're going to get a lot of flack, black people gonna hate you, country music ain't really gonna accept you, but you get one, and they said, look, but if you get a hit album, you walk on water. And that's true. People forgive everything. Look at R. Kelly. The rumors about R. Kelly been swirling for years, but he was making hits, so everybody chose to look the other way. Whether you believe he guilty or not, you can't deny the fact that the rumors have been out there forever about him. And I just believe that where there's smoke, there's fire. But moving on. So, and then she was saying, well, where should I record? Do I have to go to Nashville and do this album? Should I go to Nashville and do this album? And they told her, look, you go where you are comfortable. We can always lay the tracks and then go to Nashville to finish the album. But you have to make music where you feel comfortable, because that's where it's going to be most authentic. And there was a producer there that had worked with Whitney, and he was saying how when she did I Will Always Love You and did pop music, how she got a lot of flack and how the black community really wasn't feeling it. I don't remember it that way, but I was younger then, so maybe, and I wasn't in the industry, obviously, but I just remember that most people didn't even know that I Will Always Love You was a country song, except for country people. The average black person ain't had no idea that that was a Dolly Parton song, let's be clear. Matter of fact, most people thought that the dude from the Four Tops, that it was their music. Remember the Four Tops had done that song? Am I thinking about the right song? I know y'all gonna get me together in them comments if I'm wrong. But I really feel like the lead singer from the Four Tops, I feel like I remember him. He's passed away now. And his name is right on the tip of my tongue. Stubbs. I really feel like he sang a version of I Will Always Love You. I really do. But most black people thought that that was their song, not Dolly Parton's song. So I didn't necessarily remember the black community giving Whitney backlash on I Will Always Love You. But again, I remember I was younger then. Maybe I just didn't remember it. I remember The Bodyguard being like one of the top selling soundtracks of all time. So she couldn't have got that much backlash. Neither here nor there. The points are valid though, that country music is probably not ready to accept what K. Michelle is dropping. If she get a hit album, all will be forgiven. Y'all know how that goes. And she's sipping on her Jack. She said, life is great with Jack Daniels. And I agree, because, you know, me and Jack, that's my friend anyway. Now, back over to the Zell and Paris household. I'm sorry. Let me just go on and get K. Michelle out the way. Later on in the episode, we see her meeting with Carly Red. Come to find out that she is going to move back to Atlanta while she does her album, because she said that's where she feels comfortable. She knows she can make great music in Atlanta because she's done it before. I feel like we need to prepare ourselves for a return of K. Michelle to Love and Hip Hop Atlanta by them bringing in Carly Red into this scene. We know that that's where she got her roots, is with the Atlanta franchise before she had her own spinoff, and then she came on Hollywood. The fact that she's moving back to Atlanta, and you know, they need a K. Michelle on that cast, because, you know, after losing Jocelyn, they need a firecracker. They've tried to bring a couple of people in, and it just didn't really do what they needed to do. So they need a firecracker. So I feel like that's what we getting ready to get on Love and Hip. I feel like this was their way of introducing her back into that. She's also meeting her surrogate. Her surrogate is in Atlanta, and they're at one of them, you know, places where where the women detox their hoo-ha. And she said that she would need all parts of her surrogate's body to be ready for a baby, honey. So anyway, that's K. Michelle. Now, over to the Paris Zell household. Tierra Marie is overstaying her welcome. She is getting on their nerves, you know, two's company, three's a crowd. They say house guests are like fish. You know, after 2 or 3 days, you know, they begin to stink. You know, that kind of thing. And Zell is planning his, he's planning a single release / fashion show all at one time. We know he's been working on his fashion line. He's also been working on his EP. So he's doing both at the same time, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So Tierra Marie gets to talking, and she's saying how she wants to do music with Apple. Zell automatically goes to 10. And I don't feel like he went that far off the hook. They tried to build this up like he was so nasty, and he went so far off the hook, and he was so nasty to Tierra Marie. And I feel like we've seen Zell do worse for less. I just don't feel like we saw that. But that's what they want to convince us that it was, so we just going to go along with the storyline. Okay. So Zell is upset because he was like, so wait a minute, you mean to tell me you would do a song with Apple, somebody you just met, you don't even know, but you stood me up in the studio, I'm your cousin? And he was saying how, you know, he paid for studio time, he paid for producers, he paid for whatever, and Tierra Marie, not only did she just not show up, she never even acknowledged it or apologized. See, and so they end up getting into an argument, and basically he told her, you know, it's time for her to leave, and she was like, fine, I'll leave. And she was like, he said, you know, I feel like people don't take my music seriously. And she was like, I mean, I ain't make a big deal about it because I ain't know he was serious about his music like that. But my thing is this, Tierra, and this the reason why your ass can't get no way with your music career. And this is why, you know, everything that went down with you and Rockefeller and all that other stuff that happened, because how can you in the music industry not acknowledge all that it goes into a studio session? How can you not acknowledge everything that has to happen in a studio session? You know you pay for studio time. You know you have to get everybody there. You know you have to have certain things in place. And for somebody who's an independent artist like Zell, who's unproven, who's basically paying for everything out his pocket, that's just disrespectful. And I don't think Zell was wrong. In this one, they try to make it seem like Zell went so far off the deep end. And, you know, I don't be defending Zell like that. But I don't think Zell was wrong. I think he was absolutely justified in his feelings, and I don't think he overreacted at all. I really don't. I think she was disrespectful in her non-reaction by her not acknowledging the fact that she was inconsiderate and wrong, and she should have apologized to Zell. But neither here nor there. So now we at Zell's, because Booby, okay. So they had talked about Booby was going to be they doing a casting call for the fashion show, and it seemed like Booby and Tierra Marie got a little flirt thing going on. So they get down to the casting call. It's Paris, it's Zell, it's somebody else. Booby comes through. You know, they get to flirting or whatever. I mean, you know, they get to talking or whatever. And basically, Booby is giving them words of wisdom, telling Zell, look, you know, you just need to talk to her and let her know that, you know, what she did bothered you. And, you know, you got to really have that conversation with her. And he was like, you know, Paris said, you know, Zell gets a bad rap, you know, because people see, you know, the Zell that we see, you know, the fighting and the cussing and stuff. But she said he's really a sweet guy who'll give you the shirt off his back. Like, he really is a sweetheart. And he takes a lot from people. And so what a lot of people see is the blow up. They don't see the build up to the blow up. And I feel like we saw a different side of Zell in this episode, because he was very emotional. He was crying. And he was just saying basically how she hurt him. Like, the fact that that's his own cousin, it's his family, not only is not taking him seriously with what he's saying he wants to do with his career, but then even when she says she's going to do something for him, blow him off and act like it's not a big deal. And, you know, Booby said, look, just talk to her, you know, let her know how you feel, blah, blah, blah. Then we got a little bit of the backstory on his clothing line. It's called East Avenue because that's where he grew up in Ohio. I think Eastern Avenue or East Avenue. And he said that basically it's a street where a lot of stuff go down. It's not in the best neighborhood. It's not in the best parts of town. And he wants to just put a different spin on it. He wants to bring something positive that's associated with East Avenue, not just all the negative. So I thought that was sweet. Later on in the episode, we see him and Tierra Marie sit down and actually have a conversation. And with the conversation, we realize that they just make up shit. It ain't even that deep. They make up. You know, they both tell each other where they were coming from and how they feel. And again, I feel like they made Zell the bad guy. And I don't feel like Zell was the bad guy. Because she was saying, you overreacted, you did too much. And he was like, yeah, maybe I did, but I was hurt. I don't think he did, but maybe that's just me. I don't think he did too much. Like I said, we done seen Zell do way worse for way less. But okay. Okay, y'all. Now we're down to the music fest that Jason Lee was hosting. Remember, he was talking about getting Lyrica and all these other people together before him. But come to find out, this is like a real event because Megan Thee Stallion was there. Now, you know they didn't play no parts of Megan Thee Stallion. The closest we came to Megan Thee Stallion was, it's been a hot girl summer. We ain't seen no parts of Megan Thee Stallion. But it was clearly a real concert. Not no love and hip hop, you know, inspired, put together, room in a club type situation. So we see somebody we have not seen all season. Miss Nikki Baby is in the house, honey. And, you know, she ain't on the show no more. But, you know, I guess she still had to come through for a cameo. Come to find out, Tierra Marie is staying with her since, she said since Zell put her out. But Zell ain't put her out. I mean, she sort of said she was leaving and he didn't stop her. But I don't remember him saying get the hell out. He might have. Couple of things go down at this episode. At this event. First of all, Tierra Marie asked that she claimed she was sober. She swore she up and down she was sober. But honey, she came walking down that red carpet, sashaying, trying to be cute. And next thing you knew, bloop, 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 her ass fell flat on her butt. Honey, it was a hot mess. All you saw was them legs sticking out like on The Wizard of Oz with the Wicked Witch. And the legs were just coming out from under the tree, under the house. The other thing that went down is Moniece is here, honey. And this is around the time Moniece had released those voicemail messages from Just Hilarious. Y'all remember Just Hilarious released those Just Hilarious uh um shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Released those messages from April, basically telling all of April's business, and because her and April were friends, and they fell out. So she gonna go to the enemy of my enemy. Basically, she gonna go to Moniece with all of this incriminating evidence, talking about how she don't take care of the kids, that Fizz takes care of the kids while she out running the streets, and she comes back home and telling Fizz about this dude and that dude and this guy that she want to be with, while he's sitting at home watching the kids, and she making him look like a fool, making him look like a chump, and all this other stuff. And of course, Moniece, with her shady ass, couldn't wait to post it out there. And Jason Lee, with his shady ass, was mad, talking about something. Why you ain't bring it to Hollywood Unlocked? You just dropping tea and ain't even bring it to us first. Child, please. 2 years ago, you trying to put out a sex tape. Just because I came on your show does not mean we cool. I'm gonna release my own tea, okay? So later on, I'm just gonna knock this mess out. Later on in the episode, we see April is upset with the whole situation, feeling betrayed by Just Hilarious, and why would she do that to me, and da-da-da-da-da. Then next thing you know, Just Hilarious shows up so they could talk things out. And Just Hilarious tried to blame everything on Moniece. Now, she's talking about something. I mean, I was barely talking. I just agree with everything she said. That ain't what I saw in them. That ain't what I saw in them videos. That ain't what I saw. I saw you telling all of April's business. Moniece wasn't doing no talking. When you was telling us about April going out with them men and dating all these different men and leaving Fizz in the house and making Fizz look like a chump. That wasn't Moniece. That was you talking. Now, Moniece might have been egging you on, but you were sharing that personal private information. And her explanation was, or defense was, basically, well, we hadn't talked in a couple of months and I thought we wasn't friends no more. That's what friends do these days. So because you hadn't talked to somebody for a few months, that's what we doing now. So, Just Hilarious was like, so where do we go from here? April said, look, I need time. I appreciate the apology and everything, but I just need time for us to figure it out. For me to because I'm hurt, And she was like, well, I want to know what you're going to do about Moniece. Just Hilarious talking about something. I'm ready to pull up. I'm ready to pull up on that one. Child, if you don't go sit your ass down. You said it. You went to her because you knew she had beef with with April, and you went to her being messy. What you didn't think was that she was going to drop all that information on social media, which I don't know why you didn't think it, because you went to her for a reason. You went to Moniece for that exact reason. Moniece did exactly what you wanted her to do. You were trying to hurt April, and that's what Moniece did. She used it as a weapon. And basically, Moniece was like, either me and Drew are going to be able to work things out and be able to talk together like civilized people, or I'm going to take him for full custody. Now, I don't know how you going to get full custody when you sitting up here on TV talking about you mentally unstable, but okay, that ain't my business. That ain't my business. She said, Moniece was saying that every year, I guess she said after every season, her and Drew seem to be in a better place. And then as soon as he starts dating somebody new, then all the bullshit starts again. So the two of them Cam just can't get 18 fast enough. That's all I'm going to say about the two of them. I mean, both of them are ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Both of them. Last but not least, we see Lyrica having another play date with Baby Ocean. Now, I don't know how it was a play date with Baby Ocean when she was in the pool with Baby Ocean and A1 was in the house playing pool. Well, whatever. And that's it. I'm done. Let me know what y'all think.